So welcome to e-commerce talk with WebBee, where we sit down with e-commerce founders and uncover the real stories behind the brands they are building. Today, we have two guests joining us. They are doing very interesting things. They are building a brand that makes handcrafted leather boots, bags, belts and jackets right here in India. Products that are built to last, made the old-fashioned way and shipped across the world. Made for India, for the world. They are the co-founder and head of design and craft of Craft and Glory. Please welcome Rohit and KB to the e-commerce talk with WebBee.
Hi everybody.
So
Nice to be here.
first things first, Rohit, I'll start with you first. Why don't you introduce yourself, your brand, the stuff you are doing?
So I'm Rohit. I am basically from Solon, a small town in the foothills of Himalayas, and that's the place that I've grown up in, and that's the place that I'm most inspired from. So when we were young, we would go up the mountains, do trekking, do all sort of activities, which in today's world children aren't really used to, right? Especially in these regions. So I'm really attached to nature, ruggedness, outdoors and everything. And that has been always part of my life. But while doing so, I figured that there aren't too many products and high quality things available in India to do so, to sustain that kind of lifestyle. Everything that I could find was very synthetic, plastic, shiny, red greens, neon greens and everything. But I was always looking out for high quality products. And while I was studying abroad, I came across an auction, and then I saw some really high quality products being auctioned from World War One and Two. And then I really saw high quality boots that were there for last 60, 80 years. I saw some bags, Swiss military bags from like half a century ago. And then I was really fascinated. I couldn't really afford anything as a student, but then those kind of goods stuck with me, and then I kept on looking for such products. But then I saw that such goods are still being made by some small brands across the globe, very high quality artisan brands, but nothing is available in India. So after working in my family business for a couple of years, I decided that I'll start something of my own, and I'll dedicate whatever time and passion that I have to create such products.
Right.
So that is how Craft and Glory came into existence, and that is how we two are sitting together, because KB wasn't a team member from like initial all, he was a customer. And then we'll keep on discussing about the booths for hours and hours on weekends, and we'll share ideas and everything. And eventually he joined the team. And now he leads the designs and everything for the products that we make.
Great. Thank you, Rohit. And this is around which year? When did you had that auction? You saw the product?
I started
which
doing
country?
this back in 2017.
Uh-huh.
And
The auction was in which year? Where you participated?
I never participated in any auction.
No, you visited that.
I was just going by and I saw some auction happening.
Around which year?
It's back in 2009.
Okay.
2009.
So this is a great learning you got, and that you actually implemented it.
Then when I started exploring, then I saw that there are a lot of heritage brands still operating, and they're over 100 years old. So for example, Barber. And then I came to get to know about so many other brands. So Barber is a very British brand. And so many people wear those waxed canvas jackets because it rains a lot in the UK. So I really felt good that people were there who are still choosing to wear something which is more heritage, more British, and did not use a lot of polyesters while making water repellent fabrics and apparels.
Right.
That was something really nice.
Great. Thank you. KB, why don't you introduce yourself and your role in the company?
Sure. So as he said, I started off as a customer, and we got connected, and we ended up chatting for years, literally, on weekends, days off, just about developments that are happening in the market with other brands, products, manufacturing techniques, etc. And I spent most of my life in corporate, almost 18, 19 years working in finance, strategy, operations. And I decided to finally leave all that. And we always, we'd always chat, oh, we'll do something together, we'll do something together. And then I just took a dive and it's been fantastic. So as far as the brand is concerned, my role is defined and undefined, I would say. So it centers around product design, but it could include whatever the company needs me to do.
I mean, that's a well-defined role, like whatever works for the company.
Whatever needs to be done. It could be helping with recruitment, operations, vendor management, housekeeping, right? Basic stuff, because I've seen the way he works, right? And everything is his responsibility. And I think after joining, I've in some small way helped shoulder that.
Yeah, great. So what actually creates the quality in the boot? I mean, you also mentioned regarding the brand, the story, the community, but let's start with the quality. Like, what is the quality in general?
I'll let you take the lead.
Yeah.
Sure. So let's start with the basics, right? What are the materials you're using? So we use full grain leather. Right, you have many different grades of leather without diving too deep into it.
Right.
Full grain leather is a grade or a type of leather that out of, let's say, every 100 hides in India, specifically in India, only about 3 to 5 will pass inspection and can be used as full grain leather, right? So it has the tightest fibers, which means it has the most strength, therefore the most resilience, therefore the longest lasting, right? In addition to that, I would say all our boots, there are no synthetic materials.
Right.
Everything that's in there is leather on top of leather on top of leather, right? All natural materials. Under your foot, under the insole, is a cork footbed. We know cork's a very premium product. It's a natural product. It takes the shape of your foot, which also contributes to the longevity of the boot.
Right.
Supporting your arch is a steel ribbed shank, right? Not a plastic or any other cheap material, it's solid steel. So every little bit of everything we do is drawing inspiration and sometimes directly drawing from how things were made 50, 60, 100 years back. Because back then, it wasn't about buying and disposing. It was buying and using, repairing and reusing, repairing and reusing. It was high quality goods. So it's not just design cues that we're taking from 100 years ago. It's construction methods, materials, right? And I would say the ethos and spirit of how things were made. So, and beyond just our products being built like tanks, what makes them so long lasting is that the way they're built allows every product to be repaired and serviced by us. And that's a service we offer all our customers. So you don't need to dispose of anything. You just send it back to us. We'll slap on a new sole. So think of it like changing tires on a car, right? Once the tread wears away, you don't throw the car away, right? You get a new set of tires, right? Same thing. You send it back to us. We'll take off the old sole. We'll stitch on a new one and another 10,000 miles of life.
And for that, does the manufacturing process has to evolve?
So the manufacturing process is entirely different, right? I would say today the way we make boots is the best of old school with drops of new age technology. For example, if you went 100 years back, right, they would just be using stitches and nails to hold everything together, right? They didn't have the high quality adhesives, industrial adhesives that is, are resistant to high temperatures, very low temperatures, all that type of thing. We do have those today. So we are taking all those nails, all those stitches and modern adhesives to create a product that's quite literally indestructible. Right? Now, how is this different from other construction methods? Other construction methods that are used widely across the market, mass market footwear, there's nothing wrong with them. They're just different. They're made to be easy to make, fast to make, but they're made to be used and disposed of.
Right.
So in its own way, our products being 100% natural, right? Recraftable, rebuildable, resolable, right? They are far more sustainable. Because a single product has a longer life, right? It's using all natural materials. It doesn't end up in a landfill or a garbage dump after a couple of years. You can use them again and again. And we actually have in our in a display case in the office, we have boots from the Second World War, the Vietnam War, the Korean War. These boots are 50, 60, 80 years old. And we make our boots the same way those things were made. The techniques and construction methods we use were the same ones that they used during the Second World War to outfit and supply millions of American soldiers who went and fought across Europe and the Pacific, millions of British soldiers who went and fought across the European theater. So I don't think there's a scaling issue over here, right? These techniques, are scalable, absolutely scalable. But the point is, do you as a company want to provide your customers with something that is that well built? Right? Do you want to provide something that can last as long? To us, one very important lesson I've learned from him, and I think it's a driving ethos that he has, is high quality goods shouldn't be restricted to those of fantastic economic means, right? They should be accessible to as many people as possible. And I think that's part of the vision of what's driving us.
You also mentioned regarding the brand, the community. Do you want to elaborate more on this? Like, how do you translate into creating a brand and a story to be shared to the customers?
Okay. So the question is that how do you build a story around it?
And actually sell it to the customers. I mean, someone has to
So
see it
I
also,
think
right?
first of all, you need to be in certain kind of a niche.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to pick a niche rather than you being a manufacturer, a brand who's also trying to sell to cricketers along with people who play badminton and then people who play baseball. You don't really have a narrative, a story, right? So for example, Vans, right? You know the brand called Vans, a shoe footwear brand, right? So they only tried to push their products to skateboarders.
Okay.
Right. Harley Davidson is not a bike that you would commute to work. It's sold for freedom. People who are chasing freedom, adventure and everything.
But that take years of brand building.
Not necessarily in today's
money
world.
invested,
So communication was
advertisement.
very slow back then, right? It will take ages for you to reach to country level.
And a lot of money also, right?
I'm
like spending a lot of money in educating customers. How do a
earlier
person,
you needed money because there were no digital platforms. All you had to do road shows, set up a community, physical meets up and everything, right? But now in today's world, you can digital first world, you can actually reach out to people without having to spend a lot of money. If you have the right kind of content, if you are building a right story, if people are willing to buy product and your story, and everything makes sense for them as consumers, that these guys are selling the right story, the lineage look good, the product look trustworthy, they are putting in the hard work while making the products, and they are putting in hard work, telling us, explaining us the usability and how to use them, how to make sure that your product lasts. So if everything is on point with the customers and what they are seeking, I don't think so money is a big problem in India, because people do not buy products. Money is never a problem. They are buying aspiration. And if you're able to sell them the right aspiration, what they're looking for, and they feel that there is value in the aspiration, they'll buy.
So how, tell me the category you started with. Is it and how did you expand it?
I started with bags and saddle bags and wallets, and because like I wanted to test the waters. Because almost a decade ago, very few people were into this thing. And then it was the least, like the smallest investment that you can buy some leather and then you can put up some machine and start making some bags, right? Because footwear would need a lot more precise setup, skill set, tools, materials, right? Bag is literally leather, thread, hardware, and a couple of people. So it was cheaper to get started with. It's easier to test waters, but it's scalable to a limit, because if you have an extremely high quality bag, which is going to last you for decades to come, there's no good reason for you to keep on coming back and buying. So adding categories when you're building a lifestyle makes a lot of sense. It's very similar to why Nike must have started selling tracksuits, track pants, t-shirts, joggers, for that matter, even socks, bandanas, all these things, because now when person is coming back to you, they have trust in you, they believe in your products, the quality, the story. It's so much easier. The audience is warm, right? They're ready to buy more stuff, and you have a relationship over there. They have to spend money somewhere, right? Now you already are there in the market, they've tested your product, they believe in you. they would be more than happy to give you their money than trusting another brand that they've never worked with. So adding categories is a difficult job, because if you built a reputation for quality, it is on your shoulders to make sure that next category cannot be substandard in research, story, lineage, construction, everything. So is it easy? No. But is it fruitful for long run? Yes, because even people get introduced through different categories. For example, you may have not tried our bags, but you got interested in boots. Eventually, later, after 6 months of being a customer, you decided that I'll also buy a bag. You started with denim, and eventually you saw, yeah, denims are great quality, the brand experience was extremely good, you decide to buy a leather jacket. So these different categories also act as entry into the brand, and people eventually buying into other things as well.
Right. So there are two pillars of a business. One is customers and products. So you're saying when you are spending, don't go for the new customers and new products, but expand the number of...
Yeah, see, so in today's world, when you're spending money on acquiring a customer, it's extremely expensive. You end up spending 30 to 40% of your total product cost. So for example, if I'm trying to push a product to a new customer, my product is for 100 rupees, I'll end up spending 30 to 40 rupees trying to acquire a new customer. So where is my margin? Right? I'm not making any money when I'm trying to push them.
That's right, but this is all common knowledge, but people still don't do it. Any advice for those founders? Anything you have found which have worked for you regarding like adding more categories rather than going for new customers?
So we are not like going all in launching categories just because we feel like it. People tell us what's missing in the market. And it's a particular segment. So heritage workwear, where you have a high quality denim that can last for a very long time, and you have good quality boots, a good bag, right? Then people tell next that, hey, now I've got these things for you, but I'm not able to find a high quality jacket in Indian subcontinent. Since you're doing a great job with these products, can you also introduce them? So people are the...
And how do you listen to people? Like, what are the signals you keep the people?
Yeah, you have... So initially I had no customer service representative. I used to talk to every customer myself. For good 4-5 years of my business, I was the one who was dealing with all the customers. Then the feedback was way easier. And even right now we have WhatsApp community. We have 2 groups. There are over 1700 members in both, combined in both the groups, and they are telling us everything over there, right? So the feedback loop has been very open. My email has always been on the website. People have my phone numbers. So if they need anything, they just directly tell me, why don't you develop this product?
Great. So keeping open to listening to the people communication, customer communication, is that what you mean?
This is me. So the reason that I started business was to meet like-minded people, because it's extremely hard to find like-minded people in India. So I did this through running a brand. I met people who were fascinated. I met KB through the same business, and he's the most extremely passionate person when it comes to heritage wear, and that is how I built a meaningful relationship for the rest of my life. So you meet good people if you are into a genre, right? And then it becomes enjoyable. Then feedback also feels like a constructive criticism.
Anything you want to share about the design process? Like, how do you create a new design? I mean, it's heritage.
So first off, the only reason we can do as many interesting things as we can do is because our founders very open-minded to experimentation, right? If he was closed-minded, I don't think we'd be able to experiment with 75%, 80% of the things that I always try to get pushed. So, I've got far too many boots at home, right? If you ask my wife, she'll agree with that statement. And once you go down that rabbit hole, you start going on forums and Reddit and subreddits and military collection forums, stuff like this. And you see designs from 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 15, 20 years ago, right? And I just have a habit, if I like a picture, like a design, I'll save it, catalog it, right? Have it in a traceable, folder that's all organized neatly. And I'll keep it there. And I just keep skimming through these. Whenever I have time on my hands, I'll be sitting on a flight, I'll be skimming through old photos, right? If I find something I really, really like, that's when pencil goes on paper. And I'll just start sketching it. because I've bought from brands in the US, Canada, Europe, and fantastic brands. They've been around for 100 plus years. You know, they're the guys who started all of this. But I've always felt I love the product, but I would just change this little thing over here or change that little thing over there. So that's how it starts. You start with a pen and paper and you put, you put
You
your
don't have a
ideas
formal
down.
degree. You are a finance guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
We're all users of consumer goods.
Yeah.
Somewhere
you
in
put
our
it pen
life,
and
whatever
paper.
it is.
I can draw reasonably well.
yeah.
I'm not an artist, but I can draw reasonably well.
Yeah.
And then what happens is I will sit with our pattern master, very talented guy, and we will start converting a one-dimensional picture with reference photographs into a three-dimensional object. Then sampling will start, and that's how a new product comes about. And trust me, I would say 85% of the stuff I make has never left the design desk. Right?
Okay.
There's samples strewn around all over the place because it sounds good in your head, but not everything is going to be sought by everyone.
Yeah.
For example, what he has on is a brand new design. What I have on is a brand new design. We're testing them to see how do they feel, how do they fit, how do they work. If we believe that these are going to be comfortable, that there's and that's where the community comes in. We share photographs with them. You know, people will give us feedback. 30 people will say, I want one, I want one. So that kind of gives us a sense, is there not just a comfort from personal experience, but is there going to be any sort of commercial viability to a product?
Right. So when we tell some of the product, I mean, which you said 85% have not left the design.
Yeah.
So like what is the key factor which actually will make those 15%? Like why would
several things. One is both of us have to really like what it looks like at the end.
Okay.
If both of us don't agree on it, we don't push it forward.
Okay.
Right. Number one. Number two is a lot of times I won't even let it go to him because it looked good up here, but then when you see it in real life, I just destroy it or put it to the side very quickly. But that's the point of experimentation, right? If every experiment was a success, science would have advanced another 500 years by now. But it's those failures that keep reinforcing and helping you fine tune whatever it is you're trying to do.
How do you create ideas? You also mentioned briefly about it. Can you elaborate the process a bit? Like how do you research on a new experiment? Like
history is the greatest teacher.
Yeah.
Right? There are entire communities and web pages that are dedicated to talking about old historical footwear, uniforms, clothing, and fantastic resources. Books, tons of books. So you start from there. You find patterns, silhouettes, looks that appeal to you, right? And then that is the foundation. And you start building from there. That maybe you like this aspect of it, but you know what? It's not 1905 right now. So the entire design may be a little much for people. So you tone it down or you modernize it to a taste that works in today's context.
And you also join various communities, as you mentioned, like subreddits.
Yeah. So there are, believe it or not, there are times when you think you're the only nut job who has far too many boots in a closet. You realize there's a few 100,000 other nut jobs out there just like you, and they like nothing more than talking about boots and heritage clothing for millions of words worth of posts, and all you need to do is just spend the time and effort and read. And the amount of free education I've got from, because there's fantastic resources. There's entire pages where cobblers, professional cobblers in the US and Europe will say, ask me anything.
Okay.
And people ask questions right from how do you do this to a thread? I can't get this knot correct. How do I do it? Can you share a video? I can't carve this part of the leather. How do I do it? And they will share their experience. It's a fantastic educational tool. That's how I've learned whatever little I have.
Right. And can you elaborate the process more on creating the brand and the community? Like how does the community look like and distance, time and form?
Community is nothing. It's if you are passionate. You cannot build community for 300 different genres.
Okay.
You need to be passionate about one thing. You talk to other people.
Give me an example, like for your community or for any
community. Okay. Community is one. a word, a feeling,
Uh-huh.
right? So Nike say we are a community.
Uh-huh.
So we are a community. Example, all the people who wear such sneakers,
Uh-huh.
we have kind of a brotherhood and we understand each other.
Right.
That is
right.
a word community, a feeling.
Uh-huh.
And then there can be tangible assets around
Uh-huh.
community. For example, starting from a email list can be a community, right? So you have 5,000 people who enjoy what you do and you keep on sending emails which they like to read about, right? And then there can be a YouTube channel where
Yeah.
people come and learn. But those are like one-sided communication. Then there can be channels where are two-sided communication
Yeah.
happening. You organize small little meetups somewhere, right?
yeah.
In some small little club or a coffee house. Like there are book clubs where people meet, discuss
Right,
ideas,
right.
discuss books, right? And then there can be WhatsApp groups. There can be a Reddit page. There can be a Discord page. All these two-way communication are deeper channels. You do get criticism at times, but you also get good feedback. You also learn what people are saying. You get to go back to the drawing board, redo things how people really want it. And that is how it's profitable. People also feel heard. People also feel appreciated. People also feel part of something special.
Right.
So communication, when happening both the ways, is more fruitful for a brand because most of the brands are afraid of it.
Right.
Most
and,
of them.
And can you tell me what are the experimentation one can do while creating a community? I mean, you mentioned experimentation while creating a product, but is there any experimentation
you
one
need
can
to
do?
see what is the right platform for
Yeah.
you. For example, for gamers.
Yeah.
So if you are building a community around video games, a Discord is the best place to be at because all the gamers are lying over there, right?
Yeah.
But if you really want to build a community based on books, physical meeting is the
so
best.
what are the
way.
bad ideas which people generally land up in creating a community? I mean, which actually didn't flourish. I mean, every business owner wants to create a community. It's not something like, but people are not able to actually end up creating a community.
See, I understand
Yeah.
why.
Yeah.
Because you are extremely busy running a business.
Yeah.
And there are always problems to solve inside a business.
Yeah.
So taking this extra effort
Uh-huh.
of creating a community, paying a focus, and without having any tangible outcome.
Okay.
Out of all the efforts that you're going to put in, I understand it may look like a black hole where efforts are going to go in, time is going to go in, and there are more bigger problems to solve at any given moment, any stage of business.
Yeah.
Right. So I know it looks like a very difficult thing to do, but focus, building it in your plan, making sure that you spend at least half an hour on this subject every day, learning about it, and then actually implementing it. So you have to build it hard inside your business plan, hard inside your day-to-day task list.
Yeah, I think that's great. And regarding the experimentation, I mean, of the product, every business owner wants to do experimentation. I mean, I have not approached, but they don't do it. I mean, everyone wants to do research and they want to have a budget on R&D. They want to do experimentation. Looks like fancy to all of us, but why do businesses not do it? I mean, I'm asking you because you actually done it. What is the other side? Like, why people didn't end up spending a lot of time and money and resources in experimentation?
So if you're doing everything in-house, like we do, it's not that expensive because we have in-house artisans, we
So it
have
become easier
in-house
to do it.
capability, we have a pattern master, we have everything in-house. And while we're making 100, 200, 300 pairs, we can simultaneously make 5 new designs that we can test.
So it helps in
and
creating.
we can eventually build. So it's similar to how companies keep on developing new models and even marketers keep on testing new ads because some or the other product is going to get diminished eventually, and you need to keep a backup so which you can inject and then you can sustain the revenue. So that has to be built into as part of the part of the systems and processes.
Yeah, you are a made-to-order brand.
Yes.
So what do you mean by that?
So we are a made-to-order brand. We are a slow fashion brand. Slow fashion means to make something meaningful out of high-quality products, good craftsmanship, which can last you for a longer time, right? But this also means that creating those products is more expensive, labor-intensive, right? And a lot of money goes into, because if you are picking up expensive materials in comparison to what they've been sold in the market, and you are taking a artisan who spent 20-30 years honing their craft and getting good at it, both the combination of both is slightly on the higher end, right? So if you're going to invest into that, and then you're later going to sell,
Yep.
right? Means you're going to tie up a lot of capital, right? And if you're new into this thing or you've not really established the kind of products that you're trying to sell, this may result in a lot of pieces which you anticipated you will sell were not liked by the community or the people, and something that you thought would not sell were demanded. So now you're stuck with inventory which is not being pushed. So the reason that we are made to order, we didn't want to push a lot of pieces out. We wanted to focus on quality. So what we decided was, we'll take our time, right? We'll take our time. We'll make sure everything is made slowly, slowly for a reason, so that artisans are not rushed into pushing pieces, right? They have their own sweet time to enjoy the detailing of the product, and that needs more time, right? So that is why we are made to order brand, because once we decide to keep an inventory, which we will, right? And not that we are going to push artisans into not making high quality product, but systems and processes will work at that time, which will make it easier to stock the products. But few reasons were to keep ourselves lean, have cash in our hand, use products, and then keep set of 3, 4, 5 kinds of leather, make them fungible into across categories. Like we can make bags out of the same leather, we can make boots out of the same leather, right? So stay lean, stay profitable, be a brand which is available with high quality, because that is more of a service to market, that we exist more than if you're able to supply it very quickly.
Right. And now regarding to the sourcing, as you mentioned, you use a very high quality raw material for these products. How do you, what are the challenges you face?
There are challenges.
Yeah.
So if you look at the leather industry as a whole in
Yeah.
India, it's export oriented, which means it's mostly B2B and massive volumes.
Yeah.
Right. And it's also fairly disorganized. At least in my experience, it's fairly disorganized. So when you're a smaller player and you're trying to source those same products, MOQs are sometimes prohibitive from working with certain tanneries. That's number one. Number two is because the sector is disorganized, because the main, I would say, revenue driver for many of these guys are export houses who are working on an L1 model, right? They will lock in their capacity to make several million square feet. Okay, your 10,000, 20,000 square feet gets deprioritized. So once you get accustomed to it, you learn to build a buffer for lengthening lead times, inevitable delays, blah, 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 blah. But if, so those are some of the challenges, I would say. The other challenge I think that happens is that the sheer disorganization and fragmentation of the industry means that there is a huge variability in quality. Even when you talk to, let's say, or you're getting the same product from person A, B, and C, if they're saying that the specification is A to B, right, where the mode of the measurement will come for each one, it could be 10% plus minus, right? I think that is also an issue. Whereas in the West, what's happened is, because these industries have shrunk significantly over the last 50, 60 years, because manufacturing in the West has shrunk significantly, right? The ones who've survived have done so by branding themselves. So the raw material has become a brand, just like how Intel and AMD have become brands, and laptop OEMs are now stamping their laptops with AMD or Intel or Nvidia, right? These raw materials have become brands. So standardization on quality, color, consistency, much higher, right? Can it be done in India? Of course. Lead time, development time, patience, collaborating with vendors, back and forth, sampling, resampling, this eats up time. So it takes patience, it takes a lot of effort, and getting the recipe just the way you want, it's not an easy thing. Not an easy thing at all.
So when you say the industry is disorganized, broadly speaking, like what do you mean by that? What are the challenges you say day to day, and how does obviously in India most of the raw material different across industries are disorganized. So
Yes.
I'm just asking you to say as a whole, like
Um,
what can one expect to work in a disorganized industry?
So I would say most of the channel partners that I have had the pleasure to interact with, very talented. They know exactly what they're doing. They're technically extraordinarily competent. They know exactly how to do what you want them to do. I would say the major challenge I think that can happen from time to time is suppliers are often perhaps over optimistic on timelines, right? And ensuring consistency from lot to lot becomes entirely your obligation.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to really fight about it. That, we must supply. If we've committed that it's within spec A and spec B, we must make sure every lot is booked.
Okay. Yeah.
So you're taking a lot more onus as the buyer.
And then you keep a buffer at your end.
You have to.
Yeah.
Absolutely have to. There's no other way.
Yeah. How does the learning look like? Do you journal something? And you mentioned you are very organized in terms of like keeping the data.
I try to be, yes.
Yeah.
I would say more than being organized, you need to be persistent.
Okay.
So, I mean, if you're calling up someone to get something done, it's not that you've called them up, you've signed a document, and that document is legally binding, enforceable, right? You need to call them every day, 3 times a day, until they get so fed up of getting your calls. They're like, chalo, kaam kar liya, le lijiye abhi.
Right.
Right. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I think persistence and just follow up. Follow up is key. You have to follow up all the time. All the time.
Right. Great. Now coming back to the business, you sell in India, you sell in US, Western Europe, Australia, as I also mentioned.
We sell in. Yeah.
So any challenges in like scaling to these many locations?
Yeah, global.
Being a brand in India. Yeah.
Global things can be challenging at times, especially since last 7-8 months. US been putting up tariffs, right? It was like second biggest market for us. It still is, but of course, when tariffs are introduced, such global turbulences keep on happening. Now there is war. Now every freight charger is charging you more. So what we've deliberately built is, if our raw materials were 100% or a huge sum of raw materials were coming from other parts of the world, then it may have been way more challenging. But we built our ecosystem of raw materials in the vicinity of, I would say, 300-400 kilometers. So there are challenges because of fuel, because the cost has gone up for everything. But I would not say that the supply has been hit in a huge
right. And regarding the creating a community, I mean, you selling so much across the globe, like selling in US, being a brand in India.
So okay, so if you are truly into something, then it's not about the geography that you're in.
Okay.
So for example, if you love craft coffee, for example, right, irrespective of which country you come from, if you know a certain brewing method and you're geek about it, how much the temperature of water should be, how much should I brew it, how much should I roast it, then it is not about it, because it's not ethnicity based. Right. You're not trying to sell kurtas, which a US citizen would not understand, or a person from South America or South Africa would not understand. You're making boots. If you are into boots and the communication language is English mostly, so if you are into something which is a product, like if you're into technology, irrespective of the fact which country you're coming from, if you are into coding and when you
people
are into Python, people understand the same language, right? So the quality drivers are same for everybody. What they see as premium and what they see as low class. For example, a pasted outsole, a cemented construction is considered a low quality construction method, irrespective of the fact if you're sitting in USA, Philippines, and you like heritage goods. The common denominators remain the same, irrespective of the geography. Right. If you're a watchmaker or a watch enthusiast, and you like to understand different kind of movements and everything, right, and different kind of cases for the, or use cases for different watches, it remains the same for everybody globally.
Right. So, future plans, scaling up, what do you think a brand, made to order brand, how do one scale?
Made to order brand, and how do you scale? So it also depends upon, so we are a slow fashion brand, and we make goods which are going to last for a very long time. And literally zero competition in the place that we're in. If you could really go right now to a shopping mall and buy the same thing that we are selling immediately, then we wouldn't have a business.
Right.
But because it is not available that easily, because anything that you need to get is from international market, because it's exponentially expensive even if you go abroad and buy it. That is the reason. So we are solving for something. That is the reason that we have a business. So why are we make to order? We wanted to stay lean. It was a new concept for India. We've passed that phase. We will look into making ready to ship models which are our best sellers, so that even people who need it for an occasion, a gift, a travel or something, be able to use it. But a lot of products will still remain made to order,
and
because
also
they are level 2
new categories also on top of the same for the same.
We have categories, and then it's inside every category we have different levels.
Right.
So there are introductory levels, and then there are intermediate levels, and then there are pro levels. So the ones which are introductory demand, because they don't really understand that genre that deeply, right? So they demand a quick service, they demand a quick turnaround time for everything, exchanges, return. But people who are now at level 2, 3, they are happy, patient. So most of our customers on our community, they like, we place an order and we forget about it. And after 30, 40, 45 days, a very high quality product shows up at our doorstep and we're very happy. So they build their expectations around how they want. So it's very similar that you want a handcrafted car, any brand, Rolls Royce for that matter. It takes 6 months for them to build a car. Toyota takes about half a day to build a car, right? They're both great brands, right? But here the value prop is that they're going to entirely make a Rolls Royce by hands, hence they need more time to do so. But on the other end, a Toyota is totally robotic, mechanics, a entire production line, everything happening quickly, and it's still a great product. So, but if you need more time spent on the product, you would have to allow more margin of time to build the product.
Great. So we are at the last segment of our podcast, the rapid fire questions. I'll ask one question each and please answer them. First for you, Rohit. Boot or bags? If you had to keep just one category forever, boot or bags?
Boots.
Boots. Yeah. One craft and glory product you are most proud of designing.
The craft boondocker. It's a boot.
Okay.
It's
Great. Biggest myth about leather goods in India?
That leather goods are only for professional office use case, which is a big myth.
And what's the real story?
What's the
real story? Like what's
real
the myth
story?
about it? Yeah.
Leather goods were, so offices are a very recent introduction into like the human race. We've been like, the first three things that human picked up was an animal skin, bones and stones, right?
Okay.
So leather has been used since, I would say, 500,000 years, since all the evolution, and we've been hunting and we've been hunters and gatherers, right? So we've been using leather since all that time, and mostly leather was used for outdoors, rugged purposes, wearing jackets when you're hunting goods and everything. So that is the reason that leather historically has been used for rugged purposes, then it has been used for office purposes.
Great. Function or aesthetics, which comes first in your design process?
Functional aesthetics.
Functional. Okay. What first? Like, I mean, what you value more, aesthetics or functional?
There is no aesthetic that I design that doesn't have a function, or vice versa.
It actually has to work,
Yeah.
Be comfortable, Great.
And it just so happens that when it's functional, it looks good.
A material or technique you haven't explored yet, but you really want to? Any material or technique you actually want to explore?
There's a technique called Welchstone construction. That's one I haven't explored. McKay lock stitch Blake construction, Blake Rapid. Haven't explored that. At some point, maybe.
Yeah. Great. So thank you for being here, Rohit and KB.
So
it was really a pleasure speaking with you and learning from you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.